Alright, welcome to the video. In this one, I'll be talking about a variety of different figures and what they actually represent for beneficiaries of fixed income programs, as well as those with low incomes, as I frequently do here. On the channel, encompassing Social Security retirement disability, among other things, SSDI survivors, spouses on SSI, VARRB low-income seniors, elderly individuals without income, and obviously individuals with disabilities. I'd want to show you these figures so you can see exactly what is happening at this moment, because many announcements and people speaking about it are doing so at this precise moment. This may be a little misleading, but I want to provide you with the details so you can understand what is happening and how it is significantly affecting each and every one of us. With that said, let's talk about what's going on here, but it moves quickly before we do. I appreciate you being here, and if you haven't already, please make sure to hit the like and share buttons, which are located directly below the footage. Thank you very much for everything. I would also really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel, which is completely free and can be done by clicking the large subscribe button down below. I sincerely thank you for your support. Let's talk about it now. A few days ago, we received the crucial inflation statistics for the previous month. I have already discussed topic in earlier videos, but I haven't shown you the figures to the full degree of what the report is currently displaying. Now, let's take a look at the headline numbers. As I mentioned before in previous videos and on the live stream I hosted the other day to discuss this as well, the headline figure can be a little deceptive because when you look at the title and reflect, oh my goodness, it really went down and everything's improving. I also mentioned during the live stream that you need to delve into the report and truly examine the facts. Since the headline may have changed, the truly humorous part of this is that, despite this, the items that we are all spending our money on, like necessities, continue to rise. Just a tiny aside for now. During his visit that same day, Biden also mentioned that prices were declining for cars, appliances, and airlines. Thank you, but who is buying a car? Have you purchased new drying machine or new refrigerator recently? Have you recently purchased any airline tickets? I don't think anyone really cares. These are goods that, well, maybe a very small portion of our population purchases. However, I doubt that most people on fixed or low incomes are purchasing refrigerators every weekend, cars every other week, or plane tickets every week. So who are they? Truly cares whether these items' prices are declining? Let's take a broad view and consider what it is that we all regularly purchase, such as necessities like food, and that's what I want to talk about: shelter, healthcare, senior care, and things like that. And I'll provide a long list of percentages that I have on hand with you in this video, okay? Well, it might not be as long as my arm, but you get the idea. I have a lot of percentages in this video, but anyhow, I researched the report as I always like to do for you, and I want to explain things to you, so I mentioned on the live stream the other day that I would make a special movie just for you, and this is the special video because I want to dissect this and show you what's actually happening. Because as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of people out there who are genuinely unaware of what they talk about how costs are declining. But when you look at the actual report, you see that things aren't really going as planned. Let me give you a long list of figures to illustrate this. Once more, you'll be able to observe everything with clarity. Incidentally, as of right now, it appears that inflation may be declining and that Coke may be modified. However, here's the thing. How much Coca-Cola did we get this year? 3.2%. Yes, you are correct. We received the 3.2% cola in the start of the year, which was a very long time ago. However, let me to you some figures now. Alright, so this is only a one-year time frame, so I'm going to give you just the first 12 months of that, and then in a moment, I'm going to provide you a longer period of time as well, 3.5 years, so we can see the trends and prices throughout that time as well. Therefore, obtain this just in the most recent food prices have increased by 2.2% in just 1 year. So we would think, well, that's not too bad, right? We have a 3.2% cola and we're ahead by 1%. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Allow me to share. For the same 12-month period, hospital care costs have increased by 7.4%, and shelter prices by 5.44%. Here are some further figures. Senior care has increased by 11.6%, so go ahead and kiss that 3.2%. Cola farewells for a while because food was the cheapest there during the previous 12 months, but that stuff got eaten up months and months and months ago due to all these exorbitant prices. So let's go back and review everything. The way back to January of 2021, which is roughly 3.5 years ago. Let me now provide you with some further percentages. Once again, there is a lengthy list. Only going to rattle off a few, because there are a ton of them. You can choose, and they've increased tremendously, but allow me to show you a few here for you to look at. Alright, so get this. Since January 2021, food costs have increased by how much? 1.55% over the previous 3.5 years. Okay? How much have shelter prices increased over that time? I'll inform you that the increase in shelter prices is 21.9%. In that identical time period, energy costs, gas and electricity costs could be between 28 and 38% of total energy costs. Do you want me to continue as I have for the past 3.5 years, or have you had enough? Anyway, you understand my point. Now, what we're looking at is that, wait, these are like significant price hikes. They don't actually tell us this stuff, but nonetheless, how much of an I'll tell you 17.8% more about the increase in colas we received in the same period of time. Now, regardless of how you choose to view this, we are far behind, lagging behind by anywhere from as little as. At the low end of the scale, we're behind by anything from 4% to roughly 20%. On the upper end of the range, 21%, all right, so the colas need to have been nearly twice as large. That's probably what they ought to have been thinking about at this point. At the very least, the colas ought to have been 4% higher. That's the maximum amount that they ought to have been. And once again, I would imagine that many of us would agree that what they're talking about is more like 100% more right doubled. Therefore, I wanted to bring this to your notice so we could see what is happening here. And once more, I seriously doubt that your local news is informing you of this. However, I can assure you that there are others who behave as though they are aware of your expertise in this area. About saying that, all these things are getting cheaper, but if you look at the actual report and examine the data, you can see exactly what's occurring once more. Who gives a damn about appliance prices? I don't really care what's going on with the price of a washing machine, so maybe you don't care either. A refrigerator, dishwasher, and dryer. Really, we don't really care all that much. Perhaps you might, but I don't. I want to know what's going on with the costs of food, shelter, and healthcare. Things like these that we're all paying for. Every single day, week, and month, things like this, I'll also let you guess how much the price of eggs has increased in the last 3.5 years. Egg prices have increased by 85% over the last 3.5 years, so they've practically doubled in price in that time. I don't think you'll predict this amount. It might be 85%. And a half years, that is nuts now. Don't get me wrong, eggs are still very inexpensive, but that isn't important at all. What matters is that they have increased by 85%, and that is what we want. To examine correctly historically, eggs have been extremely affordable for a long time. How long was it possible to get a dozen eggs for, say, 89 cents? 99 cents for every 19. 129s. Incredibly cheaply for a very long time, and now they're claiming that these figures indicate that the average cost of a dozen eggs is currently roughly $279 for the whole country, so once more that's averaged out. Obviously, some places might be slightly more expensive than others, but overall, that's what it boils down to for a dozen eggs, so there you have it once more. I wanted to draw your attention to this so you could see it. Once more, it's really simple to glance at the headline like this and see the people we look up to and assume that they're the officials are the experts in this field and are aware of what is happening. However, they are merely attempting to read a teleprompter, and I'm sure they're having trouble with it. That being said, my argument is that you should examine the report here, which is why I enjoy looking into it and sharing the reports and specifics with you so we can both understand what is going on and not just rely on some clown's word for it. As far as what's actually occurring here. Okay? Anyhow, perhaps this clarifies things for you and provides you a different viewpoint. However, I don't believe this is very shocking to anyone. This is not some stunning statement, in my opinion. I think we can all agree that it is not some secret. Oh, wait, I guess I was unaware that food costs have increased by 215% in the previous 3.5 years. I guess I missed the fact that all of my money was being siphoned off for the same old groceries. That shouldn't have happened for any of the other things, though. Correctly among us, I believe that everyone is aware of what is going on here, so I simply wanted to draw your attention to it. As always, I welcome any questions, comments, or other input. Below, please like, share, and subscribe to the video. Down once again, thank you so much, and don't forget to watch the other videos on the channel. The thousands of people in the video library ones that were personally chosen for you are in the description below, at the top of the comment section, and right now, some videos are appearing on your screen. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Choose now, and I'll see you in the following video. I just want to keep you updated on what's happening, giving you accurate, trustworthy, and honest transfer information like I usually claim that I'm going to, because, well, I think this is vital information to know nonetheless.